Which one?
The red button.
The one
There's
facing
only 2 red
on the
buttons.
left.
The one facing us.
There you
You
go.
need to come in?
That one's right.
This guy needs to come
Boom.
in? What does he need?
That one's not on it. I was waiting.
He wants to buy. He wants to buy your most expensive painting.
There goes my $10,000 sale.
Right.
Damn it.
I was going to buy everything on the wall, but they didn't let me in.
Always happens when we're podcasting. Yeah. You can hear everything over here.
Those drinks sound good.
Really?
Hear the ice and
You guys have any trouble finding the place? No?
No.
No? Nice.
I can't tell you how many times I've been down this street and I didn't know you were right here.
Really?
I've been around here so many times. It's ridiculous.
We had the place next door for like a year and a half, and then this side opened up in November. So we came, like, that big beautiful bar was sitting right there, and this place was empty. And like I talked to my business partner Harris. I'm like, I need that. I need that. So we took this side too, and
It works.
we opened up this side of the gallery because next door the whole gallery was split in half, and we just had that much space as our operating like studio space. So now we have all that for that side, and then this side.
Yeah, I walked
It's
in there
all
at first
gallery.
when I was coming up. I didn't even know that it was split.
Yeah.
I'd never been here.
Yeah. So we like it here. You know, it's home.
No, this is really
It's cozy.
spacious for what
So-
you're doing.
Interesting thing too is when I was 17, I was still in high school. The first ever gallery that I was in the building right behind us. So it's kind of like a
Things work out.
full circle thing with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bridge there and the whole thing like that. So it's definitely, the spot is definitely cozy. And
I thought you were
definitely
down Federal at first, near isn't that where RJ Boyle and Chaos is? Kind of near
they're-
there.
Right.
I thought you were
they're
like
down
right around
West
there.
Point. No. Yeah. Chaos is just north of Sample, and RJ is south of Sample.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's cool. We were in Coral Springs for years. You know, like, I mean, where I quit my day job, we opened up DFAS like 8-9 years ago. And then we became Connected by Water 3 years ago when Harris came into the picture. And then, you know, the rest is kind of just haven't looked back. But yeah, we like being in Pompano, though.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's
Can't be any closer to the water.
yeah, it's a lot more closer than the water.
Well, that's
than-
where we were in Coral Springs, and like Harris is like, you're not connected by water out here. Like in Coral Springs, I'm like, yeah, I guess you got a good point. So we
Connected
moved
by
over that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the olive
and
trees.
the Everglades.
Right. Well, that's where we live, Everglades, right? Jason, you're out
Literally,
there,
it's
so- yeah. So
walking distance.
that's it. And I kind of like it out there, though. To be honest with you, being close
It's
to
a
the
nice
water and
little
stuff like that.
disconnect.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
busy.
100%. So we're with the with Ground Zero, right? Of center consoles only.
Yep.
Pretty
Right.
much.
Right? So, thanks for coming to the studio, because we met at the Palm Beach Boat Show. We did like a quick little thing with just me and you,
Yep.
right? Which was fun, but I'm like, man, I got to get these guys in the gallery. So we're here with Alan and Eric and Jason and Adam, the crew.
We're here.
So
Thank
is
you very
this-
much
this-
for having us.
This is the core,
As
right?
always. Pretty much, we're missing a couple. We're missing Brian Gonzalez, which couldn't make it because we had some running around to do. But you know,
Okay.
for the most part, this is a good chunk of the group.
Very cool. Very cool. Before we start, I need to make a mention about our Starbright program. So what we're doing is we are collaborating with fellow artist friends of mine, Derek Redwine and Corey Redwine, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, primarily more with Corey than Derek, because she's the one that's really spearheading this program. She works for Starbright, and they're up in the Indian River Lagoon area, and she does an incredible job replanting mangroves and just cleaning up the coastlines and the waterways. And she makes these beautiful pieces out of found art or out of found trash, right? And I'm talking like these beautiful mahi pieces that got like toothbrushes and GI Joes, and like she just makes it work.
Really?
Yeah, and it looks really incredible stuff. But that's how kind of she got rolling, from just doing that. Like, I'm gonna go pick up the trash. But then Starbright took notice and wanted to get involved with everything that she was doing, and they live there on this in the Indian River Lagoon, and they're just harvesting and growing all these mangroves and doing such a great job. So
Awesome.
it inspired all of us to do better. But they came and approached me and said, hey, do you want to get involved? Because I'm friends with them. And I'm like, yeah, because they know our message of conservation and clean water here on the podcast.
Sure.
And just as a business and people in general. So they got Starbright involved with the show. And what we're doing is we need people's nominations. And this is going to be the last week that we're teasing this, because next week we're going to start announcing winners. And it's going to be #DoGooder. and we're looking for do-gooders. That just, it could be anything from, cleaning up, someone that's going to champion like a group of people or their neighborhood, like cleaning up, do a beach cleanup, to maybe a family that does it all the time that just needs to be recognized, because we're just trying to, the whole point is we're trying to inspire people that, this is like normalcy in life should be, just to be good stewards of the water and the beach and the coastlines and conservation. So we're not asking for any hugely insurmountable task. We're just asking people just to be wise about their surroundings and just try to take care of the land and try to take care of the water. So
That's great.
we're accepting nominations now. We've been getting nominations. You can message at Connected by Water, at Dennis Friel Art, at Starbright_com, and also C Red Wine, most importantly, SEA Red Wine, and that's Corey's Instagram. And you don't have to tag or message all of us, just one will do, as long as one of us hears about it, right? So
That's great.
next week we will be announcing the winners on the Bouncer Smith and Ellen Peel episode. So, all right. So,
Very nice.
Connected by Water is with Center Consoles only today. So, you guys good? You got your rum? Right?
Got our rum.
Can't
All
complain.
right. Connect by Water podcast.
Cheers.
Powered by Joey
Cheers.
Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and fueled by our
Cheers.
very good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum, who remind
There
you
you
never to be a spectator. We have Carleen behind the bar,
Keeping
Hey,
us
gentlemen.
good.
right? The Robin to my stern, as we say.
Cheers.
Right? Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, this is an excellent setup you have here. Obviously, we've been enjoying
Thank
it
you.
since we walked in.
It's like his own little man cave.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Don't want to leave.
Yeah. So, and we got this table today too, which we're excited about. So for a long time we had that little table, and then but I want to thank Broward Design Center, my good friend Sky, for bringing this over to us today. It is called Swar, is the kind of wood it is, or otherwise commonly known as Costa Rican monkey pod. So yeah,
Beautiful.
So it's Costa Rican wood.
Very
here in
nice.
the
Glad we
studio,
get to be
so-
the first ones
Yeah,
to
we get
use
to
it.
break it in.
Yeah, absolutely,
It's an
100%. So make sure
We got our cozies on under our cups to make
Yeah,
sure we
Laura
don't
and I
run the
wanted to
wood.
be adamant about that. Like, make sure everyone use the coasters.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
center consoles only. We talked a lot about just how wide of a net you guys cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really a very interesting thing about your company. And you guys obviously you've surrounded yourself with talented people, and they're here at the table. And
Definitely.
you certainly have. I want you to kind of go a little bit deeper into not only that, like some of them, but also maybe some of the current events you guys have coming up, just to share with people, like some of the things you guys do and how involved in the community you are.
Sure. I mean, just with anything you do, it's impossible to do anything by yourself. The more talented individuals you surround yourself with, the better the overall outcome is going to be. So it's definitely something that we've tried to do since the beginning. Eric is my brother-in-law, but coincidentally one of my partners as well, from the beginning of it. Brian is the other one. He graduated from film school. It just worked out. Married my sister, and I figured how better to keep him tight up close and keep an eye on him than bring him on board. So
Brian, your brother-in-law too?
no.
Okay, I was gonna say that'd be kind of weird.
He's a good friend from a ton of years ago. Walked my wedding, and we've done a lot of projects together early on. I think I mentioned it before. We kind of started early with some projects that we just took a solid swing at, but missed just because there was a missing puzzle piece. And thankfully, this has gained some traction, and we're taking full advantage of it.
It's definitely gained traction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little by little.
for
I mean,
sure.
we're thankful for everyone that's supported it and been part of it. And I was offered to just help. Whether we hire them or not, they just want to be helpful with it and support what we're doing. We definitely appreciate that always. It's mind blowing how many people reach out kind of in that way, and it's always surprising that so many people are just wanting to surround themselves with it. And I mean, obviously, a lot of people like boating, like being on the water, and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of stuff that happens here that has nothing to do or is nowhere near the water. It's on a computer, in a dry erase board in the office, and a lot of brainstorming. And just like any business, it's got its tough parts, and we grind at it. To say the least.
I could tell by the kind of content you guys put out. Amazing content, like
Thank
really,
you.
truly do. And I could tell like your heart and your passion behind everything you guys do. And it just naturally comes out. And I think that's why people want to get so involved with you guys. You guys are just putting out like really strikingly meaningful content, and you bring the thunder everywhere you go. I mean, listen, most of the times when I ask people to come in for the podcast, they don't bring like an entire film set like with them, but you guys do. So
we always take advantage of a content opportunity.
100%.
Obviously, it's a way to show what we're doing, what you're doing, and we appreciate you bringing us on board here and taking the time with us. Obviously, to grow from that, we have Jason over here, which came on about a year and a half ago. Also came in just saying, hey, I want to show you what I can do. I want to be part of it. Did some videos for us, and we brought him on board part-time while he was finishing school, and now full-time with us for some time. So he does a lot of the filming and editing along with Eric, and we have other things that we're growing into from that point as well. And then Adam over here, he's been phenomenal. Came on as a broker. We sell new and pre-owned boats, and he's been the one guy that we can count on for just about everything. Helpful on everything, and we have some plans. Hopefully, we can roll him into in the future as well. So here. What we look for are like-minded individuals that are like us. We're not, some people come up to us and like, you don't know that much about boats. I don't, but I definitely try to go out there every single day, single event we can get to, and these guys as well, to learn. Right. There might be a day 20 years from now that maybe we did grow more experience than pretty much anyone out there, and we have no interest in being the top of anything. We just say, hey, you know what? We're going to make the effort to get to everything that we possibly can and put something out there. So when anyone is checking their phone or their computer, they can say, man, Center Console's only's on that. They're on it. Right. And all we can do is make the effort, and hopefully that's appreciated. But when it comes to either the brokerage or we do financing, we do a bunch of stuff like I mentioned the last time. It's not really looking for someone with the best credentials or resume. It's really that person that has the passion for it, that says, hey, you know what? I don't care if it's Sunday at 8 p.m. I'll be there. It's Tuesday at 5 a.m. I'll be there. That's how this stuff works. And we'd much rather have someone that never complains and has that passion and really just wants to be there with us than someone that has all the experience in the world.
Yeah. So,
again, it's just surrounding yourself with the same type of individuals that I feel I am. I don't care what it is. I enjoy doing this, so it's not work for me. But end up putting, I don't even know how many hours. You can ask my wife. She knows probably more than I do complaining about it. But
they keep track.
Yeah, they keep track. But yeah, it's just about having fun and again, just learning every day and trying to find out what's out there and presenting it in a way that's appreciated by those that are watching.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you mentioned like learning through the development of your content. It's kind of like what we do on this show too, and we try to bring on a bunch of different type of people, and I've said this a million times on the show. We're kind of like a fishing show that's not about fishing, and it's kind of like where we're looking at behind the scenes and the people behind the culture and the community that makes up what South Florida, on the water community, this connected by water community is. But it's cool that when I can bring someone on the show that just tells stories and teaches me stuff, and I think that's part of my process with this whole thing too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like when you have someone on the show, or you bring someone like you're going to see a boat or develop something new, you can learn something new or find out new things or see what's different out there that you probably wouldn't have done if you were just going through the motions in some other way. Like the other day, you guys had what was this robot thing?
Trailer valet?
Yeah. Well, what is that? I've never even seen that before.
It's basically to replace your truck or a forklift if you're moving your boat in a tight spot, and it might not have occurred to everyone, but there's certain situations where you have to stick a boat in a corner of a warehouse or something where you just can't fit obviously a truck, and maybe you don't have a forklift, or you can't even get a forklift in there. This thing is made to literally just remote control your boat wherever you want.
Dude, I was blown away that thing was moving a boat.
Yeah. No, 12,000 pounds. 12,000 pound capacity, that one that we have. They have a few lesser ones, but that one was 12,000 pounds. Right. We've run them slightly at an incline. As long as there's not like slippery gravel underneath or something, it actually is. It's like a tank.
That thing was crazy.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
But I think that's cool. Like that's just speaks to like the kind of content you guys are pushing out. You know what I mean? Like
every day is different.
Yeah.
Every day you pick up something new. It's just
What do you think is like the most unique place that? Let me try to find another word other than unique. The most surprising thing you guys have ever encountered when coming up to a situation where you guys are meeting with someone.
Surprising thing? Man,
I mean, surprising is a broad word,
There's been all kinds of good and bad. Some of the things I probably shouldn't mention, but we've had scenarios where we've gone with to create fishing content. Eric gets seasick. It's a day that we'll go out and it'll be like a legitimate 6 to 8, and that never translates on the video. They're like, that's 3 feet. Get out of here. I was like, all right, whatever. This guy's about to puke. That guy's throwing up over there. We've had electronics, completely give out on us out there. I mean, there's been a bunch of surprises. Obviously, we don't put that out there because it's a mistake that can happen to anybody. But we've been in some interesting scenarios, I would say, and thankfully, this has taken us, into some interesting places. We went to Germany, Dusseldorf. Eric and I went out there to that boat show.
Yeah, that was
where they have 150-foot mega yachts inside of the convention center, just like they do here in Miami, and everything's different there. So we've seen a lot of cool things. And one of the things I think we seek out, because thankfully we have a lot of companies and manufacturers that reach out, and we try to get to as many manufacturers as possible. The products, we don't get into too many because we don't want it to look like a flea market. It's meant to focus on boats. But if there's a product that, like the other day, we did the Premier remotes, like the remote that you can control your lift through an app on your phone. I mean, everything is smartphone, smart TV now. So like that, the NASCO Hullmax is something we're very involved with now because we feel like that thing is completely going to change at least the bottom painting industry when it comes to boats, and it improves your performance on your boat, does a lot of amazing things. So when it comes to products, we try to find, we either try to seek out or we kind of vet out those that reach out to us and just try to put out like what we feel is valuable after we've done our own research on it, or just something interesting that we can say, hey, this is something that a lot of people might actually like and look at. So
I mean, we also can't put out everything because then they're gonna be we saw it on center consoles only, and if it's not a good product, you're like, oh.
Yeah,
we're careful about.
I was curious about that. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, what you're promoting, and I mean, you can't just sit there and
we got to believe
everything's great. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like like the fishing magazines or the boating magazines, when they do a review on the boat, that's like the boat's paid, like that review's paid for, and they gotta say great things about a boat that might not be that good.
Yeah, we don't really do that. We, like, for example, the NASCO Marine Hullmax, that clear bottom paint, they reached out to me one day and started painting this picture. Like, it's clear bottom paint. The growth doesn't adhere to it. You can wipe it off with your hands. It's removable, so if you go to sell the boat, you can actually take it off. It improves your performance of your boat. I was like, dude, I don't believe any of that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to mention.
How does it improve the performance of your boat?
Well,
how are they
it's actually like a silicone material that leaves kind of like an orange peel finish on the bottom, so it's almost like a shark skin or something. Where
it's like putting frog spit on your airboat.
It's
true. It's called
like
frog spit. It's a product that makes it slicker, so it runs through the water quicker. It makes it slicker
when it's wet. It's super slick, but it also, I think, breaks off that suction that just a flat, smooth gel coat creates. So whatever it does, I mean, we put it on a 37 Invincible Cat, and it was a client that we had sold the boat to, and he had heard about it. We coincidentally were talking to the owners on it, so we're like, oh, let's do it. So we helped them out. I drove it myself from Gables Estates to Keystone Point. They applied it there. Brian was with me. I tried to get a top speed as it was sitting, and I got 70 miles an hour flat in every direction. Current was this way. I was like, let me try it in different directions. The best I got was 70. On the way back, same load, same fuel. They didn't put it in the water, didn't do anything. Drove it back, and I got 74. So I don't know if there was a stronger current in one direction or what it was, but I ran it in multiple directions as well, and I was consistently getting 72 to 74 max. So after we saw that, we're like, Jesus Christ, this, that's crazy. I've never, traditional bottom paint will knock off, 10, 20% of off your performance. And then, they got to grind it. This stuff, you don't have to grind anything. You can just apply it on, just scuff it up a little bit. So that was one of the things that we took probably at least 3 months, maybe 4 months before we ever mentioned it the first time on center consoles only. And once we got that confident on it, we wanted to get more involved with them. So we started saying, hey, how can we help? There are a couple of guys that are, amazing, two gentlemen there that are absolutely amazing. And it's a small company, and I think they have a great product on their hand. But that was like an example. We don't just say, hey, you know what? Here's $1,000. Let it rip. We'd rather not take the $1,000 because you could call us over there and be like, hey, that thing that you mentioned ruined my boat. So we'd much rather keep the integrity of the brand and just associate ourselves with things of quality. It's not so much about the money that is made today. It's more of like the brand that we're building. And that's always the first priority with, whether it be a boat manufacturer or a product. We've had a little less than a handful of manufacturers that have offered us, decent money to promote their brand, and we've had to respectfully decline it just because we did, our initial thing. We tested out the first time, but after doing that, we're like, man, will we take our kids on this boat?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I take my kids out on this thing for one reason or another, and we'll try to help them. We'll say, look, from our experience, I think if you did this or did that, or we'd refer them someone that's a lot more experienced than we are on the issues that we noticed. And if they fix it, then, all good. But it's not about just pushing anything and everything. It's really just trying to show people what's out there and trying to associate ourselves with quality products. So, if you see it on center consoles only, you can buy it confidently because we wouldn't show it to you otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, someone came up to him and approached him at the Palm Beach show and said, I never saw this boat, but I watched your walkthrough of a Sportsman, and I bought a Sportsman.
Nice.
Just because of the video that he saw online. It was just like, hey, I believed in what you saw, and I went ahead and purchased a Sportsman without seeing it in person.
Yeah, that had to be good hearing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
the content that they're putting out is reflecting on somebody purchasing something without even visually seeing it in person.
100%. And I think it's really important to keep that integrity value of your brand intact. I mean, because that's why you're doing it, right? And that's why I think people are looking at center consoles only as a viable resource, number one, and someone that when they say it, it's rule or law, or that is very good for the reputation. And as we all know, it's like we think the fishing industry is huge, but word gets around quick. And it
huge,
really,
but it's very small community.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we like I said, we'd much rather do that. We're not looking to become multi-billionaires here or anything. We're just looking to do what we enjoy and hopefully help people out. It's authentic what we're doing. We're not looking to sell anybody anything because what we're making. We have our scenarios to get actually paid to go out and shoot our stuff, but it's not saying, hey, this product is amazing. You can say, any manufacturer can say, look, I'll pay you this much to say my boat is the best thing on earth, and we won't do it. Like we'll shoot it and show you as much as we can, and we won't say anything really good or bad on the post for the most part of the videos, but we'll show it in as much detail as possible to provide you the information so you can make the best decision possible, and hopefully, like you said, use this as a resource of information, not so much, going by what we're saying, because what we like might not necessarily be what you like or anybody else. So we'd rather just stay away from that. If someone direct messages us, or I've had, I give out my phone number straight through Instagram. Hey, they're asking about this boat. Dude, just call me. I'd rather talk to you for 15 minutes than text you 15 times here. So I've had, a million conversations with people just going over, our personal experience on a specific boat. And they'll ask a few different, I'll say, look, this has this, and try to guide them in the way that would make the most sense. But again, there's no end benefit for us to do it, and that's kind of the good part. We can be authentic. I don't care if you buy a CV, a Valhalla, or anything else. All good boats, and we'll take you in that direction. All we're doing is the content side, and we have a lot of other things that we got going that thankfully pay our bills, so we don't have to tie ourselves in there to survive, which is, I think, the best thing we've done so far.
Yeah, once you sell the boat, you can have them call me to outfit it with rocket launchers, helm chairs, all the center lines, all the teak that you see on the Hydro Sports. We do all the summer kitchens. I work with Blue Water chairs. So.
Best representative of Blue Water chairs right over here. So
right.
If anyone ever needs anything, call Carlene.
All the rocket launchers you see on the center consoles, all that stuff.
I thought you were just a bartender.
Oh, nice.
No.
Not just a prepaid.
You guys don't know that, Carlene. She is not just a bartender.
Nice.
She's an
we'll
all-star.
do that.
Absolutely. Bluefin killer.
Olé.
No, she's a big game animal. That's for sure.
Is everybody good on their drinks?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank
I
you.
think so for now.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm personally trying to become a multi-billionaire, by the way.
Yeah.
When you said that, I wasn't sure.
if we can do it. No, I mean multi-billionaires.
Yeah, that's a little.
doing it.
Yeah.
Multi-billionaires.
That's like more than three. What's going on?
Yeah,
That's why I said billionaire, not
That's why I
billionaire.
went to art school.
Multi-millionaires.
You got to aim high, Aim
Well,
high.
with some of these paintings you got in here, you can you're on your way.
Yeah, thanks for thinking that. No, I went to art school, so I'm definitely going to be a billionaire, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that, you guys are creatives,
Love art school.
right? So, film school. Where'd you go to film school?
University of Miami.
Oh, you did? I was
Yeah.
just down there last week. I
Yeah.
painted that football for their
Nice.
sports Hall of Fame tournament they had.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a fun time down there. So that's cool. It's a Miami Film School. That's
Miami Film
great.
School, studied communications, film production. I was
Nice.
more into the commercials originally, and until my brother-in-law brought me into this.
All right. So you were never really like a fishing boating guy like before.
Not
this?
really.
No.
Go
And
on
then they
a boat
throw,
with my
they throw
friends.
you out in 6 to 8s like right
Yeah,
off
all
the
the
bat.
time.
Let's see what you can handle.
Yeah, right.
I never told him originally. I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll go with you." And it's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it could be hairy if you're not used to it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, especially if you're trying to film through
Yeah, that's the other.
through a little camera. If you're just taking
That
it like
can't
a normal
be easy.
No.
like a normal person trying to fish and looking at the horizon, but he's trying to actually video both of them, and that can get a little hairy on you.
You're right though, man. Like when you're out there, it's like you think you're looking at mountains, but like when you start filming it, it just looks like there's not a bunch of nothing going on. You know what I mean? Well, what about you though, Jason? I mean, what's your background on the
I have
film
a
thing?
marketing degree from Florida Atlantic University, not too far from here.
Yeah.
And only having a marketing degree, I wasn't always involved with filming. But after kind of realizing that I wanted to create more like content based, like just more content related things. And I reached out to Center Consoles Only, and I was working at a marina at the time. And, coincidentally, Alan saw it. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, I don't have too much experience in it, but what can I do to, put myself, I don't have the resume for it, but what can I do to, get acknowledged from someone? Because, if you don't speak up at that point, you're not heard. So at that,
Sure.
there, it was just, let me get the experience by doing whatever they need me to do and do it to the best of my ability. And let's see what I can make happen in regards to that, And thankfully, I was given the opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took whatever opportunity Eric and Brian gave me,
Mm-hmm.
and Alan, of course, and just rolled with it, and it worked out.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, listen, the content you guys are putting out is phenomenal. You guys are doing a really great job, and I see it like as a creative myself. You know what I mean? So that's part of the reason why I want to bring you guys in is because your content that you guys are putting out is amazing.
After seeing what Alan puts out and what does well, it's kind of just try to create more of that. If you slow down at that point, people will lose interest. But luckily, we've had the ability to keep putting out that good, engaging content.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to try to give them the best we can give.
Yeah, that's killer. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to, I'm glad you brought like the majority of the team here because I really wanted to spotlight you guys because that's really what this whole episode's about is just like featuring you guys and just like, letting people know like a little bit behind the scenes and of how the sausage is made, so to speak, right? So, I mean, and what about you, man, when you rolled into this scene?
Yeah, I rolled into the scene pretty just, I reached out to Alan on Instagram and like Jason said, he answered me and it was during COVID. So kind of things were, on a low with what I was doing in life. And I'm a DJ part-time. So things just kind of took like a turn for there. And I reached out to Alan. I said, hey, listen, I don't know what I got to do, but I want to get into this industry somehow, some way. And he's like, give me a call. Give me his number. I gave him a call and we chatted that afternoon. And he's like, listen, we're just revamping the brokerage side of things on the business. And, if that's something that you would like to, see yourself doing, let's talk, So within a couple of days or whatever, I went and got my license and became a broker and, working with the team and Brian and stuff like that. It's just been absolutely awesome.
Dude, I'm loving this story. This is really just people just like following the hearts and like just picking it up, rolling up their sleeves and say, yeah, let's do this. Right.
Yep.
That's what it's about. Like he said,
Alan,
waking up every day.
Good team, man.
Thank you. We're proud of it so far. It's the same thing. It's like you get someone like that, like Jason, that just wants to be part of it. Usually you get a good response. We've had plenty of people that have reached out and they say they want to do something, but they never take the next step. The ones that take the next step, at least again, we've struck out on a couple that we've tried. But
You're
that's the thing.
It's going to happen.
We want to take care of those that are helping us grow this thing, and we have quite a few projects coming up that I think will offer tremendous opportunity, and these guys will have the first whack at it.
Yeah, that's killer. I mean, thank you. I want to talk to you a little bit about that though. Like you're talking about, just taking a shot and taking the chance and building something special, which I believe I don't believe it. I know you guys have. And talk to me about not just financial value, but the intrinsic value of that. Like how that kind of is fulfilling for you.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I don't know. I've taken
like you had a vision here for this, right, when you started it, right?
Yeah.
You and Brian, right?
Well, yeah, I kind of started. I brought Brian and Eric together.
Okay.
At the same time, and the vision started 15, 20 years ago, probably. It wasn't exactly how it's played out, but I think that's how those things work. But I knew that I had a passion for the boating industry, and I wanted to create something special. Like for me, more than making money doing it. Obviously, I wanted to make money. I'm not an idiot either.
Yeah, that's all part of it. That's all part of success.
Yeah, I've always had this thing. I was like, man, and I mentioned it to Brian because we started a nationwide online fishing tournament called Ocean Warfare some years ago, before center consoles only started, and it did pretty well. But like the thing that I've always had stuck in my mind personally is creating something that's noticed throughout the industry and actually improves things. Like I feel with the boating industry, and I'm sure it happens with plenty others, that everyone gets complacent with the same thing over and over, and it never changes. It's always the same. Not that it's good or bad or anything, but I feel like things need to progress, and there's ways to improve it. And not necessarily that we know every way to improve it, but we definitely put a lot of time thinking about, man, these boat shows are great, but there's a lot of complaints from the manufacturers. Everybody uses me personally as like a shoulder to cry on. They're like, man, these things are expensive. They take so much time. We have to use all this manpower. They do well for us, but it's just, God, it's gone out of control.
It's
so
like the guy that got you by the balls with the boat shows. It's like you got to be there for the presence, because if you don't go, then be like, oh, they went out of business, or they think something's wrong with your company.
The necessary evil, I think, is what I've had a few people refer to, and that's kind of stuck in my mind. And some people go there, and they've even told me, like, I go there to play defense.
Yeah.
If my competitor's there, or two or three of them, and I'm not, that person maybe came to see me and those two other guys, but since we weren't there, they went with the competition. And you know how boating is, they're loyal usually to a company that they jump on board with. So you get someone that goes with CB, they're a CB person probably for their whole life.
Yeah.
My dad was one of those, and myself when I was younger.
You very rarely find a CV customer that veers off.
No, they do an amazing job.
Yeah,
the quality's fantastic. Everything. Yeah. If you don't give them a reason to leave, they're usually not going to leave.
Yeah,
so.
Usually CV, once a CV, always a CV kind of thing with it, Yeah. And the guys are like that with their contenders, too.
Yeah,
no, it's not just CVs.
Like that.
Intrepids, people
contenders, front runners. I mean, there's a Sea Hunter. It's everywhere. But you get, like, on that team, and usually they're lifers unless they get treated poorly to the point where they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try something else.
I think that speaks to the custom aspect of those companies, right? Where they're hand making their boats, and they're putting everyone in line, and that's why people are waiting, because they're like just sitting there. They're like, I'm going to wait for my CV. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to plan ahead. I'm just going to hold on to this one for a little bit longer. Or I'm going to wait for my Sea Hunter, or I'm going to wait for my contender, right? But if it's more like a production line boat, it's like they're not waiting. Or they're not going to have so much of a loyalty there. I think you're going to find more of the loyalty, more like the handmade custom.
Yeah, you're waiting like sometimes 3, 4, 5 years for.
Yeah, I mean, look at a Freeman. Yeah, right, exactly.
You're waiting 5 years.
Freeman's
for a
huge one. Yep. Well, I mean that whole thing going back to like the boat shows, like a lot of what we do is have these conversations with just regular boating enthusiasts as well as manufacturers and stuff, and kind of absorb what they're saying. Instead of just having a conversation and having that disappear. Like I feel we'll sit back and talk about it. And we're like, man, there's something here that can be fixed, or there's something else that can be done.
Yeah.
And we'll throw a lot of at the wall, and not everything sticks, but we do make the effort to sit there and think about it, and we pass it along. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So that's how a lot of these ideas kind of come about. And there's quite a few of them that we haven't even put out there yet, but I don't know if I dabbled on that CCO experience that we were working on.
I don't think you brought that up on the last one. Yeah.
Well, that's actually happening. I'll give you an idea what it is.
Yeah, how much can you talk about that? Because I'm intrigued.
I'm not going to get into everything, but I'll give you an idea.
Okay.
So just kind of rolling from that boat show scenario and just the difficulties manufacturers have and how expensive it is. And notice some of the last boat shows, some of these companies actually backed out. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're like, man, there's got to be another way, because also from the buyer standpoint, we'd have people come out or ask through direct message or Instagram or phone calls. They're like, oh, I'm in between this, that, or that, but I'm gonna wait till the Miami Boat Show because I can see them all, I can talk to them all, and I'll make a decision there. And that might be 6 months away. I was like, man, that kind of sucks that they got to wait all that time to get that experience. And then they go and do a sea trial on those boats, and they take 20 minutes, go around the bay. It's 1 foot chop, and they come back and like, that was whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not really an experience. So that whole experience portion is kind of what stuck in my mind like some years ago now. And we came up with this idea called the CCO experience, and it was really trying to get into a property, a marina that we had access to water to almost create a 365-day boat show experience. So just imagine this, like this, we actually have a property now we closed on in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7 acres with some partners. So we'll be building out this CCO experience, and really what it's supposed to be is a dry storage facility, which will be 100% electric, all automated, recycles its own water, does a lot of things that are good for the environment. So that's one of the good parts about it.
Solar
That's
powered
cool.
to offset the energy.
Solar powered to offset the crane, hopefully. It's going to hold like 286 boats, which will be open to the public, but like our main focus is to push this towards the industry. So we want to have a section here, which for a while we were calling it a marina mall, which we got the mall thing out of there because I feel it feels like kind of old. So we're like, this is kind of going backwards. But, imagine going into a marina that has 12, 16 different manufacturers in there, whether it's factory direct or the dealer in the area has 3 brands that they represent. But they'll basically have an office space. Size will be dependent on how big they want to go with it. But they'll have their office space, their desks, and then behind them they'll have some sort of glass enclosure, which will have the boats lined up right behind them, which will be the barn itself. So this isn't a traditional barn that's open air. This is concrete slab over concrete slab. So you'll be able to walk out from your office into the boat barn area, check out, let's say it's a Sea Hunt 27 or whatever. Have your meeting. Someone's interested. They'll be able to jump on the boat, take a look at it. It's 200 mile an hour rated for hurricanes. Full fire suppression system. Like it's a really impressive all around unit that we were like dead set on using. So they'll be able to check out the boat. If they get to the point where they're serious about it or put a deposit or whatever they require, they'll be able to actually go to their phone, click their thing. Okay, I'm dealer number 7. I want to put the 27 in the water. The thing will automatically come pick up the boat, go drop it in the water. You work yourself down. There'll be restaurants in here, open bars, seating, hopefully some live music on the weekends, but kind of a place that it's almost like a courtyard of a mall where you have some entertainment, different retail to check out, but also the retail won't be, like a, I don't know, what's like something at a mall that you wouldn't want at one of these places. Like we're talking
things remembered.
Yeah,
things remembered.
Yeah, it's
What's
more
the other one? The little accessories like Claire's boutique.
Yeah,
Claire's
Claire's.
like that.
silverware, fine china.
Pandora.
You're not gonna have that there.
Right.
Oh, Pandora, that might no. We're talking to like Seakeeper, Mercury,
Sure.
JL Audio,
Connected by Water Gallery.
Gemlux, Connected
Exactly.
by Water,
Little art
Friel
studio.
here. No man, we can probably do some murals here, but you're too big time for us, I think.
No, stop it.
No, we'll definitely talk to you. I mean, we want it to be a spot where it's not just like a commercialized marine center where half the stuff you see there is nonsense. We want it to be, and we've talked to, different captains, manufacturers, owners of some of these companies to say, hey, what would you like to see if you had to choose? So, when you go to this place, it's not a no nonsense, BS store that's just selling you, garbage. It's going to be places where, we're talking to Simrad, where we can have a whole setup display and almost have it like a vendor tent, but nicer at a boat show where you can do, full demonstrations. We can obviously create our content there, depending what's going on.
You can do trainings too. So
dude,
if somebody
I'm
wants to
loving
come
this,
learn
man.
how to use their units, they can come in and actually learn how to use the units because
We're gonna have a couple boats now with Simrad on, and I don't even know how to use everything on it. There's so much to do.
Yeah, it's
so instruction
now. Yeah,
installations. We're talking to like wraps on right to be able to put wraps there. DNA to ceramic coat.
Well, we got wraps too. Don't forget. Dennis
You guys do?
Friel
Oh,
art.
you design them, yeah? You actually install wraps and everything?
Don't forget that
no,
plug.
design, install.
The design.
100%,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Wraps and Right's a good company, though.
He's solid. He's worked with us. Jordan over there has been absolutely amazing.
Nice.
But we wanted to kind of be a place where you can come by water, you can bring your boat by land, and whether you're going to learn something, buy a boat, or just have a good time with your family, there'll be some residential, like not residential, hotel, so you can actually stay there for a weekend. There'll be stuff to do for the kids.
Yeah,
like I said,
it's like the
it's
in Center Console Disney World.
I was just
It's
gonna say,
an amusement
a little
park.
amusement park.
That's kind of the idea, like an amusement park for any boating enthusiast that's interested in it. And then, like when it comes to like the sea trials, instead of let's imagine you're not sure about catamarans and you're someone that kite fishes a lot. And you're like, man, I'm not sure how this boat's gonna drift. Let's take you on a half-day kite fishing trip with a certified captain that we have here, and let's give you a real experience on that boat, not a 15-minute spin around the bay. So the idea is that let's do whatever it is that you need to do or would like to do on the boats you're potentially thinking about buying. If it's a deep impact, let's take you to the sandbar.
Right.
Or let's go grab lunch at a restaurant by the water over there with your family and kids with a fruit basket or whatever. Let's have you do.
This place is happening?
It's happening. Yeah.
Dude, that's killer. The funny thing is,
you're one of the first people to know about it.
I love it. I love it. Then I think the funny thing is like, you can talk a little bit about it, but you just told me a lot.
No, I think
Like, what the hell are you hiding?
He might have told you too much.
You know what it is? It's the Papa's Pilar.
If you build it, they will come.
Gets everyone talking.
Always.
No, I'm excited. We're all excited about it, and we've been waiting on a few things. We're in the design phase of it now. But yeah, once it's ready, it's still a couple years.
Dude, that's
out, 2-3
killer.
years
Hey, in
out.
fact, I want to take this idea, this model that you've created here, and I want to do it for potentially married couples, and we'll set up like a neighborhood of houses.
Yeah.
And they could go live there, and then we can like throw a bunch of bad situations at them.
There you go. We can do that too.
I'd rather go to the sandbar with a picnic. Right? I could be a bow rider for a day.
Maybe my idea isn't that good.
You can take the dysfunctional family.
Right.
Oh, table's out again?
We also have more going on July 16th. We have the CCO showdown. So if anyone's in the
this
area,
tournament, right?
We have
So
a
I
fishing
wanted to. I'm glad you brought that up.
the last one was a sailfish tournament. This one's a meat fish tournament, which I know is very prominent here in South Florida.
So why'd you switch from sailfish to meat fish?
Just to hit a more broad.
Just like pivoting kind
broader.
of thing, or
not everyone can fish sailfish.
The sailfish is more like towards the pro anglers,
Yeah.
So I think we had 13 boats last year, which
and you're not going to get a lot of smaller center coastals.
you're not going to get the weekend water out there. We kind of want to make it more for everybody.
You want to
So-
bring out your family out there.
100%.
Dad, uncles, some kids, whatever out there, and show them what they could do on the water and catch some mahi or some wahoo or anything like that. Not everybody can go out there and kite or anything like that to catch
Yeah,
sailfish.
it's a little more work.
Yeah.
So July 16th.
July 6th.
yes,
nice.
sir.
A cool thing we're doing on that, we always try to do something unique when we do anything to kind of separate, because everybody I think like kind of does the same thing. So we'd rather not do it if it's going to kind of just follow the path of everyone else. So Eric actually had the idea of this mansion yacht. I don't know if you've seen like this. What is that thing made out of? Stainless steel.
It's like a stainless steel.
Stainless steel like barge. It's been at some of the boat shows. Kind of a cool.
I haven't seen this.
You know the one that lifts up?
Has
No.
pilings, and it just you can stick it wherever you want. Well, that's what it is, like a big yacht barge thing that has pilings, and we're gonna pin that thing in the intercoastal right inside of Haulover.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be where the tournament's gonna take place. So we'll do a shotgun start from that barge. They don't like to call it a barge. It's a yacht.
No, dude, I've
So,
never
yeah.
seen this thing. Or you know what? I think I did see that, but I didn't even realize it was a boat.
Yeah. It's been at some
I
of the
saw
boat
it
shows.
from like a
It
distance.
was at Flips.
We got some
Yeah.
floating
It was at the
dockage
Palm
to
Beach
it.
boat show?
I don't know if it was at Palm Beach.
This last one, I don't know if I saw
Maybe
it.
maybe
It's
maybe
been
I'm
it's
thinking
been
of
at
something
something. You
else.
probably walk by it.
Yeah. Yeah?
Well,
All
that
right.
thing we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do the whole way in right off of that in the middle of the bay, right in front of the sandbar. So there
Nice.
should be a lot of people just hanging out and watching that, hopefully. And people will drop off their catch. We have some floating docks we had to attach to it,
Mhm.
but we'll be flying the chopper in the morning, drones in the afternoon, and should be a pretty interesting spectacle from the water there.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Definitely one of a kind for sure.
What did you
We're
guys
gonna fill it
post
up.
up the other day? Like this big bowl. Was that
That
from
was
your
last year's.
tournament?
That was last
that
year.
Peter Miller Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it
44
wasn't
pound,
just a sailfish tournament, but we
You're
had
gonna
some
meet
meat
categories.
categories.
We had
Yeah.
meat categories. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's cool. You got to be excited. How do you guys like running the tournament though? Like it's kind of different, right? Yeah.
It takes
No, I
work.
mean, like it takes work.
It take work.
Yeah.
The sailfish one I think takes a lot more work than the meat fish does. So that's another reason
So you
we
got
got
to
away from
review
it.
all
If we
those
can,
releases.
if we can kind of streamline it and make it easy, we could do more than one a year possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people like it. They ask for it.
They should call Liz in to help him with it.
What's that?
Liz Sizemore.
Yeah, definitely. She'd be a good asset there. Yeah, we'll link you up with Liz after the show. Yeah,
That'd be great. Thank you.
She's really good at that. She's got a lot of experience with it too. So, center consoles only, right? What's CCA collection?
This was actually something we started recently through the brokerage. We've gotten some of the high quality brands that we've come across that don't have the big names yet.
Right.
Orion is one of them. Limitless is another one. Just companies that are building like really good quality center consoles, but people are a little hesitant because they haven't been around for 10 years.
Right.
So we're working with them, taking on the sales portion, and let them so they can continue doing the building.
Mm-hmm.
We advertise them, get them out there so people see them, show as much information and details as we can, and I think ultimately the idea is to link up people with a quality product that otherwise maybe they didn't even know about. So we're looking to, with this CCO collection, line up with not so much the big brands that are already successful, but since we get to see so many of these small brands, kind of cherry pick what we feel are the best of the best, and work with them there. That's like a mutually beneficial situation. We can sell some boats for them, and we know the client's going to be happy because we wouldn't take them on otherwise.
Yeah, if we put our name behind it, people know and see that we, done our research and our homework on these boats.
Sure.
You know, like we rolled it out at the Palm Beach Boat Show, and we had both the Orion and the Limitless there.
Yeah, it was when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Because we were right across from each
Yeah, we
other,
were
and
right
I was
down
like
there.
watching you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, those guys are selling boats too.
Yeah, so we
That's
had a
cool.
couple of people that were like, listen, I've been looking at this boat online, following you, but I wanted to see it in person. And with obviously what's going on in the industry, we haven't been able to produce and get people to see these boats.
Right.
So we were able to put a Limitless and Orion at the Palm Beach Boat Show, and for people to come and see.
Yeah.
So some of the people just had no wanting to buy the boat or whatever. They just wanted to see what we were looking at online. We were the ones showing it, doing it, videoing it, putting it out there on Instagram and social media. And they were like, I just wanted to see the boat. I have no interest buying it. I just wanted to see the boat. But we also had the people that were like really interested in buying the boat. So it did really well. I was. It was nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was literally something, a story just like that. The guy came in and he said, listen, I've been eyeing this boat for a while, but I wanted to see it in person. So he drove from, I don't know where exactly, but he came from like an hour and a half away with his dad and his cousin and came down. He was like the first person at the show on Thursday. And he's like, listen, I want to see it. I'm going to buy it, but I want to see the boat.
Sure.
And I walked him through it. And
I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a boat without seeing it either.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and like that guy I mentioned earlier that, he bought a Sportsman just by viewing Alan's video on center consoles only. He took his word for it. He bought the boat and he's enjoying it now. This guy wanted to physically see one of the Orions, step on it, feel it, look at it, maybe change a couple things that he wants to take away, add, whatever it may be. And he did that.
Now he's going to be able to go soon to this amusement park.
Right, exactly. The Walt Disney World, the CCO amusement park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully.
But
Hopefully.
I think you guys really kind of rose up in this at an interesting time because we are experiencing just this steroid of center consoles just getting bigger and bigger and more robust and more robust. And that's not to say that you guys don't also take care of every length of the center console that there is, because you do. Right, even down the bay boats and the whole 9 yards. But you guys have really come into this, and I think that might speak to the name center consoles only as well, of a unique time for the center console. Where they call it reasoning it was for Bahamas runs, or you needed a boat with a bigger hull to get across faster, and everyone was tired of like the 6-hour runs out to the Bahamas or whatever the genesis of why center consoles really started becoming bigger, tournament fishing, and more space for live wells and
it's
just
crazy where the industry
trips and quads and all this stuff like that. Where do you guys feel in your mind that this is heading? Do you think that it's going to be like more of like a drawback, like, oh, we've gone too much with like the 53 Sueños and what's the other one called that HCB makes?
The
65.
Yeah,
The Estrella.
Yeah. And I mean, what's in your opinion, like, where do you see the evolution of center consoles going from here?
I don't think there is an end point. I don't know.
To me, I don't know if it can get any better, to be honest with you. Like some of the center consoles that they're cranking out are just like, but every year they keep coming out with something that's more badass and more badass, right?
I thought that, 20 years ago when I was at the sandbar and I saw my first boat with like triples on it, it's like, oh my God, look, that boat has, 3 engines, then 4 and now 5 and now 6.
But then you guys with 6 and you're like, all right, come on, all right.
I think Hydrosport put 6 600s. On that 65.
The one that just rolled out had 6 of them on there.
Yeah, 6
I
600s.
outfitted it. Yeah.
Well, we were supposed to do a video on that one for the boat show. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't think they put it in the show.
Yeah, they didn't put that 65 in the show.
Yeah, I think there's a point where the size is obviously got to hit a ceiling. There's only so far you can go.
The sky's the limit, man.
You
never know.
Every time they build a bigger one, they call me. Like the 65 that just went out, like all those teak chairs and the summer kitchens on the back and the rocket launchers. That's all me helping them design it. The 54 yellowfin with the bridge on top, like the double white helm chair.
Oh, we did that one.
So you filmed that one. So the chairs on it, I helped design putting the remote, like the controls inside the actually designed putting them in the armchair, the armrest and everything that, and the battle station on the back. That's all.
Awesome.
It's Mr. Hill, Jim Hill's boat. The Patriot.
That came on nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. You liking the Estrellas? Estrella? How you like?
Estrella?
Depends what you're doing.
What's that?
So it depends what you're doing.
Depends what you're doing. Yeah.
And your bank account.
Good answer.
There's a lot of money that goes into
money
this.
you have in the bank.
Yeah, that's a lot of boat.
Yeah.
It is a lot of boat.
Well, Valhalla's coming out with what now? A
55.
55. Yeah. That's going to be
The
impressive.
55, they sold those things out before they even did the release date when I was there.
That Valhalla is just...
I mean, it's like a Viking hull with a center console.
Yeah.
It was sold out before they even announced it. Before Pat even said what it was.
Yeah.
That 30 sold or something ridiculous.
They said, people said, whatever you produce, we will buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Whatever it is.
Well, Pat Healy and his sons, Justin and Sean, and they're a special group over there. Everything they do is phenomenal, honestly, in our opinion. And a better group than those guys. Man, they invited us to, where was it? The Golden Nugget.
The Golden Nugget.
Atlantic City over there for the Valhalla release. We walked their factory. Super cool. And then they took us to dinner that night. I mean, there was a lot of people there. But they've always, been really good with us. And I talk to Pat every once in a while. He calls him, like, oh, why is this guy calling me? How am I talking to this guy?
I know why he's calling you.
No, I don't know.
You guys are good at what you do.
No, I'm trying to get him to take us fishing to Mag Bay for marlin or something. And
Right.
I was like,
you want to do the Mag Bay trip?
That's on the bucket list, man.
You want to catch 600 stripers in a day?
Once in my life. I don't think I want to do it twice, but at least one time and say we did it.
Be an interesting run, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're a good group, and thankfully, honestly, there's a lot of good people in the industry. We've had a lot of, I think, luck. Everyone's been super cool. We really haven't come across any. I wouldn't say any negativity. There's been a bit.
There's going to be negativity.
You get someone with a stupid comment about.
Yeah, there's always somebody.
You got to worry when they stop talking about you.
That's
That's when you got to kind of worry.
That's a good point. And I got a story about that too. It's about I read this book called Unlabeled, right? And it's a story of Mark Echo and how they started Echo Limited or whatever, right? And the whole genesis of the whole thing. And they got so big that Tommy Hilfiger was going to buy them at one point, right? And they're thinking, we made it. That's it. We're going to sell. We're going to sell at the top. Tommy Hilfiger's going to buy us for millions and millions of dollars. And everything. Like, long story short, they didn't make the sale, but it was they were okay with it. They were in China, walking down a street, and it was this one famous street down there where all the big knockoff brands are sold, right? And he's walking there with Tommy Hilfiger, and Tommy Hilfiger's just walking by these knockoff Tommy Hilfiger things he's not even paying attention to. And Mark Echo was just like, we're what? Like, you don't care? And he's like, what's really going to be bad is when they stop selling it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
or
true.
when they stop knocking it off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and so
if
that's
they're knocking it off, it's because
right.
you're doing
There's
something
really
right.
not much you can really do about
No,
what they're
you're
going to
always
do to you
gonna-
overseas, you know. But
You're always going to have competition. I think, yeah.
if your
let's
brand's
say-
that desired, then that you're doing probably pretty good yourself.
Yeah. We've had that, in social media. I think from what we know, at least, we started a lot of the programs that worked with manufacturers, and not that we started walkthroughs, because that started happening, obviously, way before us, but, the way we were doing it through social media, and it took a lot of work to get manufacturers and stuff to actually work with us. At first, it was taking pictures of your,
Tough to break
of
through.
your chicken Caesar salad and stuff like that, and they're like, why am I going to put my boat on this thing? And then eventually we just got them to give us the opportunity to just let us do something completely free, and showing them is how we got to that point. And then from that point, other platforms have tried to imitate what we've done, and it is what it is. You're not going to ever stop that. Again, if you don't have people trying to copy you or do what you're doing, you're probably doing something wrong. So as long as we're the first ones and we kind of trailblaze,
You got to be the leader of the pack.
Once we get people,
You got to be leader of the pack.
You gotta be the leader of the pack.
Listen, you got to put your head down, keep doing what you do, not worry about the noise, not worry about anybody else, and just put out
that's why
solid content, right? We have the same philosophy here at Connected by Water. It's like, listen, I'm not the first one to paint a fish.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're going to try to do it better than anyone else as much as we possibly can within our power, right? But that's also why we started Connected by Water, and we're not just Dennis Friel our studios anymore, because we're looking at we have similar mindsets that you guys do, and that was one of I told you this before last time we talked, and that was one of the things that attracted me to you most was like, man, you guys are looking at things from a very unique angle, and that's what we try to do here too. We try to look at how to approach creativity through a very unique angle, utilizing our content, utilizing our artwork in a very unique way, and that's why we started Connected by Water. Not only as just a source of art, but also a source of culture and a source of community, right?
Yeah.
And source of conservation, quite frankly, right? So, I commend you guys on being that leader of the pack and just having other people try to nip at your heels, but you're saying, you know what?
Thank you. No,
Just
same
move
with you.
forward, man.
No.
Yeah, I've actually gone to and not for any reason, but I've blocked every other known page that does any sort of boating content, just because I feel like you end up just staring at it. And there was a point where we were talking about it, hey, these guys are doing this and they're copying exactly, and it was just taking valuable time away from us coming up with something else. So now I have no clue what anybody else does.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're following some other pages, it's friends or the Mercuries or the product or the manufacturers, but that's the thing. If you just put those blinders on and don't ever try to compete with someone, just come up with the best you can with yourself and your team.
Yeah.
I think you come out way better than trying to get someone else's idea and see they're doing this, and now your idea gets kind of twisted with what you saw them do, and maybe it threw you off the right track that you were on. So I think for anyone listening to this, if you can just kind of forget everything else, like they say, you're in competition with yourself. Don't ever look at what other people are doing. I think you always end up better.
So you want to be the leader of the pack, and like he said, that we've branched out to many other things that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
It started as one thing, and now we're branching out. CCO collection, CCO waterfront, CCO yachts, and it's just a matter of branching out and being the best that we can on all the different platforms.
Yeah, you got to evolve. I mean, and when it comes to looking at your competition or listening to the noise and everything like that, art's a very unique space for that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Of comparison and just feeling others making you feel like you're not, working hard enough or doing good enough, or and so it takes a lot of time. You guys can probably understand this as fellow creatives. It takes a lot of time in the creative realm to mature to that, right? And to really kind of look at others more as. And I had RJ Boyle on here a couple weeks ago, as a fellow artist, right? And it takes a lot of time to look at others as colleagues, almost like a fellowship, and associates in the same realm, if you respect their work. Right, and I think that's crucial. Right?
Yeah,
you got to respect their work. If they're doing good work, then you got to acknowledge it, right? But I understand you when you say you can't look at it constantly, all the time, and I don't. There's times where I'm I can't even see that right now. I'm not in the mood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I've just dealt with these other things that I need to handle, and I'm just trying to put out my work, right? And I've come to the conclusion personally, at least for me, what works for me is I can only control what I can control. And by doing so, I try in my world to take the last piece I did and make the next piece better.
Right.
And the next piece from that would be better than that piece. And that's my goal every time, is to always make the next piece. And whether that piece is a painting, or whether that piece is a shirt design, or a boat wrap, or just, just trying to create something meaningful, like a football or guitar or whatever. Like, I always want to make the next guitar for Jimmy Johnson better than the last guitar, right? And that's all I can control. It's all I can control, right? Within my power, right? I can't control what the other artist is going to do, or the other apparel company is going to do, or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But I hear you.
I can see what you're doing also as well in art, seeing certain styles that other people use. And I can see almost that same thing happening where if you kind of focus too much on someone else, and you may think, hey, this guy's doing well, he's doing this, and it might take you away from what your mind is capable of doing on its own. And I even get into that with some of the younger boat manufacturers, where they'll think about creating a certain leaning post or console or something like that, and we actually get into consulting a little bit, not anything too crazy, but we've done more than probably most will ever know about. But we get into some of these things, and they'll be like, well, maybe we should do this, and because these guys do it. And I was like, who cares if these guys do it? You want to copy that boat? Just go and buy if you're going to copy an Invincible, just go buy an Invincible.
Right.
Why don't you see how you can make that better? There's definitely got to be a way to make it better. And that gets into like some of the TV shows I used to see in the past, where they would review boats, and they look at this leaning post, which is a piping leaning post that's been around since 1942, and they're like, man, this is the best leaning post I've ever seen in my life. I was like, it's the same exact thing I've seen on every other boat since then. I was like, man, people, I think they need to force themselves to be innovative. They need to, their mind has capabilities that they probably don't even understand themselves, but if they just kind of get into that relaxed like mind frame where they're looking at everyone else and they're saying, okay, I got these 5 consoles, or you saw that swordfish, you're like, hey, this guy did this, instead of thinking yourself, hey, I could do this. And I think like challenging yourself will show you what you're capable of, and a lot of people don't do it, don't think they have the capacity to do it. And I think if they did, it would completely change the way people think. Just getting away from that a little bit, and just, especially as someone on the creative side, art, what you're doing. I could see you falling into, not that you do, I think you do amazing stuff. Hopefully I can get one of these
Thank you.
on our wall one day. I've been staring at that swordfish since I got in here. But I can see like artists getting into that and kind of copying each other. And
there's a fine line, right?
If you have the capability of doing this, you're a talented human being. I have to say, you do amazing stuff here.
Thank you.
If I tried to draw that, it'd be an embarrassment.
But even on certain things like what Alan would do, doing a walkthrough and showing a leaning post or a speakers or anything like that. But it's more of maybe on what Jason and Eric do, and maybe the angle of the the photo or video they're taking.
Right.
That really plays an impact on what you're looking at.
There's the lighting, the editing. I mean,
the lighting, the editing,
whole package of what you're doing. Like even him, he was just filming me like 2 minutes ago. Like he never stops working. I love it.
Yeah, whether you're flying the drone or you're doing something different, how many cameras are we putting out there? What kind of cameras are we using? So it's not just, hey, they shot the same leaning post or they shot the same dashboard on that boat. Because there's competitors out there that already reviewed and did a walkthrough on the boat that we did. But not saying ours is better, but hey, maybe we took a different approach to that walkthrough. Maybe we did, use different cameras, use different angles, and maybe hit on certain other things. Because sometimes when people go to look at a boat, unfortunately, they don't lift up the bilge pump access. They don't look inside and see what is underneath. They look at everything pretty on the boat, and you don't really necessarily look at the compartments and how this thing was built, but taking the time to do with the angles that we do, you really can see the art of the, certain manufacturers.
The presentation is really the art form to it. And it's not just, everyone is
Jason
part of it.
and I. Alan has a very particular eye.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I've always been very impressed of like his style and what he wants to do, because a lot of the content we put out is Alan on his phone.
Yeah.
So like the more long format, the things that were taking more time, then that's where Jason and I come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for the day to day, Alan, he handles it himself.
I go to
good
Alan.
vision from your leader.
I go to Eric for all of the video editing tips or any videoing ideas or critiquing anything video related. But for creative wise, like social media, Alan's had the experience to do it. It's just like each one of us has their own specific niche that they're good at. And that's, who the person to go to when you need to say, hey, what do you think of this? Because that's one thing. We always are bouncing ideas off of each other. What's different? Because like Alan was saying, you can't always just do the same thing everyone else is doing, because then they expect it. And
Adam touched on it. The 41 Bahama we were on the other day. I'm sure there's 100,000 videos about 41 Bahamas.
It's a beast
but it's like,
of
what can you do, or what can you showcase that's gonna separate, you from the other ones? We started looking under the gunnels, one that we posted a day or two ago, of the jail audio speakers underneath the cap, and then this, coil, freshwater, saltwater washdown system. I didn't even know that existed. I looked at that, I was like, what the heck is this? So just showing that on a wide angle and going underneath, it's enough where it's going to catch, a lot of people's attention to at least say, what the heck are these guys looking at down here?
Yeah.
I would look at it for a second or two. So again, it's something that we do as like a team, and we'll shoot something, even if it's on the phone, maybe 2 or 3 times, just because that bit of presentation, you got to capture, the viewer's attention in the first second or two. If not, they're not going to watch anything.
100%.
And that video doesn't do anything. It doesn't travel anywhere, and it's worthless. And a lot of people don't realize that, but we've done the homework. We've made the mistakes. We've shot every angle, horizontal, vertical, wide angle, this, that, and then we analyze how it does, and then we start kind of saying, okay, let's start doing more of this, less of that. It's just making mistakes until you finally you're never going to figure it out. But to the point where we know,
sometimes you're like, you put something out, you're like, oh, that's not going to do well, and then it does well. You're like,
yeah.
Oh wow.
The algorithm is its own animal.
Everything is done in one take, right?
No, probably not.
Right. Everything's done in one take.
Listen, this speaks to like core column, pillar, whatever you want to values of, how you get ahead, right? With what you guys have created. And you talk a lot about hard work, right? You talk like, oh, we look at this, we look at that, you know what I mean? And consistency, I think, is huge with you guys, because, right off the bat, you guys come in, you start bringing this, like, we're here, it was like a CCO invasion like when you guys walked in here, right? And you're just like, all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up like, oh, they tag you in this, they tag you in that, they tag you in this, and all day long, like earlier, like, oh, we're about to do a podcast, and it's like you guys are like incessant, and it's good, and I think that's part of what makes you successful, right? I think it's a big part of what makes you successful.
Yeah, there's so many people that...
But consistency, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys are... And that's... You're talking about leader of the pack. It's like, well, all right, it's cool if someone's going to come up with a good video. Like, all right, well, they did that one, and then a month later, they didn't do anything else, right? But you guys are, like, bringing it every day.
Yeah.
Right? And
we're always looking
important.
for opportunities. And thankfully, once we got further along, people reach out to us, and they're like, hey, I got this boat over here. So we're like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man. Like, hey, we got this over here. You want it? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So, whether it's something we're hired for or not, if we can jump on it and shoot something that, the viewers want to see, that's a good day in our book. I'd rather be on a boat than sitting in front of my computer any day of the week. So,
yeah, right.
You can get me on a John boat with a tiller on the back, and we'll have a good time.
Put some frog spit on the bottom.
Frog spit.
It's a legit product. You put it on the bottom of your airboat, and it makes it go quick.
Now I know what to get you for your birthday. A jar of frog spit.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Right. Let's put that to a grinding halt.
I'll take the airboat to go with it too.
Yeah, I'll get you an airboat.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, there's so many people that watch the content that have they're not looking to buy a boat. They may have a boat already, but they're just watching the content and being more, learning about the products that we're putting out. Maybe they have no business that they want to buy a Seakeeper. But they want to know about Seakeeper.
Yeah, but listen.
Yeah, maybe one day they're gonna come. And that's
not
the way
even
it
though.
works.
I mean,
it's just
some
informational.
people like, why do people watch TV? Why do I'm not watching Peaky Blinders because I want to be a gangster. You know what I mean? It's like they do it like sometimes just to escape their lives.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good
I
content.
want to feel like I'm out on the water today. I'm just gonna watch this video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
good. That's where we're trying. They try to connect it. Put out good content.
Yeah.
For people to to watch and not just say, oh, you know what, I'm not interested. No, they watch the entire YouTube video.
And good
entire
content
Instagram.
isn't always on the expensive cameras.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Alan does
The
not
iPhone.
like Eric said, 90% of the stuff, not 90, but like, a good portion of the stuff that we do is shot on a phone. But a lot of the other stuff you see, like YouTube, all these other different platforms we're on, it's on nicer cameras, but it's more or less like, okay, you can have all the cameras, all the gear you
We
need.
shot
But
some YouTube videos on
iPhones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
if
tried.
you get-
I started
got
at the
good.
beginning either.
If you get in the right phone, though, sometimes that can be pricey enough. Like,
it's just how much you can get out there, push it out there.
The
and people
consistency,
see
like
it.
you mentioned, is the biggest part. So they expect it, I think, already at this point. So we feel it's our obligation to
right.
create the opportunity,
Obligation.
even
It's
if it
good
doesn't
word.
exist. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I mean, because it's your vocation doing this. It's your business.
And even the social
you
media
do have
pages
some
we run.
responsibility once you build something within the industry to perform.
Even
Yep.
the social media pages we run grow pretty fast because
Yeah.
we're just consistent on all of them. Some pages we run, we've asked them prior to working with them, how many times do they post, and they like 3 times a week or whatever the case may be. Like, but we do almost 3 times a day. Like
Mhm.
Alan alone does that.
Right.
So it's like consistency is what keeps their attention and what shows that how invested you are in like to grow in this page.
Nice.
and they
Nice.
like keeping it authentic and almost making it feel like it's happening live. Like we've been on some boats, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that was great." It'd be 1 p.m. We're wrapping up. They're like, "All right, so when should we see this stuff on social media?" I was like, "If you would have checked, it's been on since 8:30
Yeah.
this morning."
Nice.
I go, this thing has been running for a while. So we like to try to keep it live, and eventually, with some of these projects we have going on, we almost want to like turn it into like a reality TV show where we can document, since we have so many days out of the week with actual pretty interesting, experiences. We'd like to just kind of make it like a reality TV show online and just document that stuff and show people what it is, to be part of this on a day-to-day basis, which, there's some days that are boring. There's nothing going on, but there's a lot of days that, it's pretty fun and interesting. And again, there's always good information that we're trying to absorb. So as much as we can capture and pass along to everyone else, the more successful we'll be at it, I think.
Nice. So if anyone wants to work with Center Consoles Only, best way to get in touch with you guys?
Oh, don't open
Instagram.
that.
I mean, there's probably a million ways to get in touch with you guys.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they can direct message through Instagram. I get to all those myself. We also have support at centerconsolesonly.net. And so we have the experience, which is a couple years out, which is going to create more opportunities. Right now,
I can't wait to start following that. By the way, that's going to be incredible.
You'll hopefully be seeing some stuff soon. So it'll be fun to watch, and we have some letters of intent from some pretty respectable companies that want to be involved in it. So we're excited. And from there, I think from
So
this point,
that's the part you couldn't talk about.
no, we can't get into those details. But I think from right now to the inception of the project, I'm sure it'll mold itself into slightly different variation than what we even have in mind, because that's just the way these things work.
Nice. So
but we're
let's sign up
excited.
for your tournament. Where do they go?
CCOshowdown.com.
CCOshowdown.com. And July 16th is that tournament.
July 16th.
Right.
That should be a lot of fun.
Right. Absolutely. And that's at a Hallover with the big mansion and
Yeah.
the whole thing, right?
Right in the inlet. So whether
Right
you're in
on.
this, even if you want to hang out at the sandbar and just watch it, if you're not interested in fishing, we invite anybody to want to come out. We'll hopefully have some music playing and just have a good time there. But it should be fun. The weigh-in starts at what, 4?
4.
Four.
Or lines out at 4.
Lines out at 4.
So 6, I think, was the weigh-in.
6.
2 hours to get back.
Yeah. Nice.
I
Where are
think
they
it's
fishing?
from
Dominican Republic? Or?
I think it goes from Hillsborough,
That's what Brian said.
Hillsborough Inlet down to the Ocean Reef, I think.
Well, no. Last
Yeah.
year lines out at 4, and people started showing up
Yep.
earlier, and they
Right.
start weighing in as they come in. So
Yeah.
that's the fun part.
It was a lot of fun
Again,
last year.
It could be a lot of fun. I think it hopefully will come out good. It could be a massive disaster.
No.
Do you guys have somebody running the tournament, or is it just you guys trying to handle everything at the moment there?
No, we handle almost everything. We have a lot of stuff that we juggle between us here.
You may just as personal kind of experiences have somebody handle that, just that bringing the fish in and weighing it in and knowing the boats and how to like delegate it a little
Yeah.
bit, that
Yeah.
way you guys aren't filming, you're trying to do everything else. And I think
Yeah, we'll link you up with some people after
that
the
may
show,
just
yeah,
be able
for
to
sure.
help and
Definitely.
kind of make
Yeah,
it run
I think-
smoothly for you.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'd
'cause
be
last
great.
year we had a couple photographers on each boat,
Yeah.
and they went out to film, personally, each boat as they went. So
The
we were able to
experiences of
create-
each.
Yeah. So we were
Nice.
able to create a little content after,
Yeah.
you know. So and then obviously the weigh-in, we had the photography there and the videography there. So
Oh, yeah, Peter
Yeah.
Miller bringing up a big bull. I mean, it's good
No,
stuff.
I
yeah,
was
no,
excited
It's
to
good
be on
stuff.
his boat.
he was on the boat. Yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a great video.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
listen, guys, thank you very much for coming out today.
Absolutely.
No, thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, having some rum with me and
Absolutely.
hanging out at the new table and
Beautiful.
Got the christening.
right, the monkey pod.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing is heavy.
Right on, right on. So center consoles only, and you find them on Instagram and CCOshowdown.com. Right,
Yes.
if you want to
For
enter
the
the tournament, right, coming up July 16th. So cool. Carlene, thank you very much. Nick and Yanni, thank you very much. If you
Thank
need
you.
Blue Water chairs, if you need chairs, call Blue Water Chairs. Call Carlene.
Call Carlene.
Call Carlene.
Just call me directly.
Yeah, call her directly. Right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having us. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if anyone also is in the market for a new truck or vehicle, Jeep, Ram truck, call our good buddies over at Dodge, Joey Carty, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, right? And they'll hook you up. Ask for Dean. Can't say this for sure, but if you say that you found out about them on the Connected by Water podcast, you might get a better deal than anybody else, or
Well, friends and family.
Yeah,
Right,
it might happen. I can't say for sure. That's up to them.
I'm gonna hold you
to
a pour. I'm
consummate
gonna hold you
that,
for
yeah.
it.
Right, and we've been drinking Papa's Pilar rum today. right,
Absolutely.
which, as we
Very
always
good.
do on the show, right? So
Cheers.
let's raise a glass to never being a spectator, right, and bringing it home tonight. So,
Yes,
and
sir.
also if you're hungry, you want to go order something off the Connected by Water inspired sushi menu or Papa's Raw Bar, right? And link up with Center Consoles only if you aren't already, which you probably are. Most people, right? Which probably you guys got a wide following.
Decent
So,
following. Decent
yeah,
following.
decent following. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank
Your
you.
ego is not your amigo. Always do your best, and at the end of the day, just let God do the rest. And do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we are all
Connected by water.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys. Cheers.